Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, and welcome to New Life Live. Really glad that you're with us here today on New Life, and hope it's going to be a great day for you. Halfway through the month, Mental Health Awareness Month, and two people that I'm quite aware of their mental health, Dr. Jill Hubbard.
And concerned about us.
You're not questioning that, Steve.
No, I'm not questioning at all. But I would like each of you to suggest how a person could improve their mental health when we've never, ever had so many challenges to our mental health as now. What's something that somebody can do? I'll start because this is easy and I don't want you to take it. Get outside and exercise to whatever degree you can. You have to move to keep the mental health going.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, in fact, my daughter and I did an exercise thing out on our front porch. I felt a little bad kind of, sticking my rear end in the air to all the neighbors, but hopefully nobody was outside. But it was good.
Okay.
It felt good, even for 20 minutes. It was great. So that's good advice.
What else?
Oh, decreasing caffeine. For those of us who are anxious, that was a biggie for me. That really turned things around. When I found out what caffeine is in, it's in a lot, and I cut back on it. Big help.
Okay. Cut the caffeine,
Okay.
exercise.
So you
move.
have to maintain connection, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a key thing for mental health, because you start to get isolated and then you want to isolate more. And then you start feeling shame and insecurities, and then you start disliking people. And, I don't want to talk to people anyway. And there's this kind of gradual progression. And we've been in our houses for so long now. So as things are starting to lift, don't be afraid to reconnect with people. And there is a different, Zoom has been so great and it's been awesome. But there's nothing like being together face to face with someone. It's different energy.
So, got to stretch yourself a little bit, experience a little discomfort, but it helps you kind of get back in the groove of being with people and connecting. And if you were uncomfortable before, you might be even more uncomfortable now. Let me just suggest this. While you're out there not drinking caffeine on the front porch, but you're exercising, how about put in a phone call to somebody that would love to hear from you? At least you could start there. Let's go to the phones. Let's get started. 1-800-229-3000. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you can call us. Here's James, and he's calling from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hi, James. How are you?
Hey, Steve. Hey, Alice. Hey, Jill.
Hi,
Hi,
James.
Feel like I've known you a long time.
Hi.
I've been a Club New Life member for a long time, Every Man's Battle alumnus. I've learned a lot from you all over the years.
Great.
And
What's going on today?
I'll just get to my question. Oh, okay. I'm 56, and is the fact that I cannot cry a sign that I'm stuck in my healing journey? I think that it is. And if it is, how do I get unstuck? And I can give you some background if you like.
Okay. Quick question. Was there a time in your life when you cried a lot and you were emotional and freely cried, or is this something that's kind of been with you for a while?
Ever since I was 15, I really haven't been able to cry.
Okay. So that's really helpful to know that this isn't something that's just kind of come upon you here. I'll ask you this. Before you were 15, was there ever a penalty for crying? Anybody ever tell you big boys don't cry or stop crying, anything like that?
Yeah, there was that type of message, yeah.
Yeah.
Crying was...
All right, well, we're going to talk about it.
For a
We're going to
week.
try to help you. I'm really glad you called, and thanks for supporting us as part of Club New Life, because it really does make a huge difference. And when Club New Life members call, we give you extra special attention. Not really, but we'll do our best here. We'll be back after this.
I was skeptical going into it.
Temptation is up, isolation is up. It's the very things that feed addiction.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
As they advertise, it really was a no-shame zone. I've now got a herd of men in my corner. That support system is huge.
During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop.
She saw the immediate change. By the end of the day yesterday, her and I had conversations, calm, respectful conversations. We've never been there.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, Steve Arterburn here. At the break, we were talking about another program where Jill had encouraged someone to just sit a little bit longer in the discomfort of being told something, maybe is critical. Sit in the discomfort before you just immediately defend yourself, and it can really help.
Or before you run from emotions, right?
Walk out the door. But here's James, and he's saying, I need some emotions, and we found out that, well, it's not something that's just come upon him that he can't cry, that it's been pretty characteristic. Since he was 15, he remembers this, and before that, he can remember some pretty strong messages not to do that. Alice, why don't we start with you? What do you think would be really helpful for James? Because I don't see this as a sign of mental illness or something. I see this probably a result of some bad parenting. But what could he do now to be free?
Well, I do think that parenting still has a hold on you, James, and I would wonder how severe that relationship was, along with the message that you're not supposed to feel emotions, you're certainly not supposed to be vulnerable and cry. How severe was that from the person that gave you that message? How severe was their treatment of you?
Well, I guess my dad was a harsh disciplinarian. Like, my earliest memory was when I was about 3, my dad was beating me over and over with a belt, and I didn't know exactly why. And
3 years old.
It wasn't always that way, but 3 years old. And that was like my earliest memory of that type of harshness, and I think that sent me down a road of just feeling like I was all alone, like I didn't really belong in my family. But I am a feeler, though. I feel things pretty deeply. I just can't cry, if that makes sense.
James, I would guess that the physical aggression from your dad probably got worse if you did cry. Is that right? So you learned how to hold it in and hold it in well.
Well, not the physical, but maybe I think he would, tease me and just sort of make just belittle me for that, perhaps.
So the shame of it. So, James, was there something maybe significant that happened at 15, or did you just come to a decision at 15? Because you seem to immediately know it's been since 15.
Yeah, I remember. It was like the incident was like I was delivering papers and newspapers, and it was a pretty difficult route for that day. And I got home late, and my dad started berating me and accusing me, and then I cried, and I think I was mad at myself for crying, and I haven't really cried since.
And did you make any statement to yourself that you're aware of? I'm never doing that again.
I think I thought about that. I think I may have. I don't remember, but I did. By that time, I had this mindset that crying is for the weak.
James, let me give you another connection here to not crying. Don't you want to believe the best about your dad?
I think so. I mean,
you described him as a. Go ahead. You what?
Well, I've worked hard to see, how his own childhood, had affected him, and he had a lot of trauma growing up, and I've tried hard to understand, that's what made him, the way he was as a parent.
But you described him
I've tried to
you described him as a tough disciplinarian type, and I don't think he was a tough disciplinarian type. Anybody that is beating a 3-year-old with a belt, that's not a disciplinarian. That is an abusive, angry man who can't control himself, can't restrain himself. And a precious 3-year-old little boy, has to receive all of the aggression that he's too afraid to deal with, or too afraid to express to an adult, and so you got it all. And here's the thing. I think if you were to break down in tears, it would connect you back to that helpless little boy who cried.
Yeah.
And it would connect you back to a humiliated 15-year-old who was mad at himself. And so there is a chance that the inability to cry is actually kind of an unknown or subconscious unwillingness to get back to the depths of the pain and suffering that you endured as early as age 3 through 15. Horrible abuse. A lot of people don't want to be emotional because they don't want to live back in that reality. But here's the thing. I think if you did some really great grief work, accepting who your father was, accepting the reality of what you had to deal with, able to express the anger that would normally be there, but a 3-year-old couldn't even tap into it, just horror versus anger, and express the sadness and go through a grieving process, I think you'd come out on the other side and you would be so much freer, not just free to cry, but you would be free to experience all the positive and wonderful emotions. I feel so sorry for you when I think of that 3-year-old. What do you guys think? What are your insights?
James, there is inner child work that a therapist can do with you, where you, the therapist, and Jesus, you talk to that 3-year-old and that 15-year-old, and you minister to them, and you draw out their voice and their story and their pain that got locked in because those were such traumatic events. And through that spiritual and emotional combination of addressing them, it usually unlocks what has been so solidified in you that you can't cry. It's almost as if your dad and then later you made an oath over you. And the Bible talks about it as a curse, where the words we speak, I will never do that again, you will never cry. They are solidified in the spiritual realm and in the emotional realm. So through the unfair forgiveness process of your father who did unforgivable things to you, and through the breaking of that curse over you and any empowerment that was allowed to the enemy because of what your father put you through, I believe that combination will start to release you. And James, you're not stuck because you're still trying to figure out the answers, and you're calling us and you're working on this. So you're absolutely not stuck. God's drawing you to a deeper level of your healing.
James, did you ever wonder where was God when that little 3-year-old was being hurt like that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I mean, I sort of know that, and the answer cognitively, that he was right there with me in the midst of that. But it's, on an emotional level, it's hard to really grasp that.
Yeah. Right. Because he doesn't ever tell us that he's going to protect us from pain, but he does tell us he'll wipe away our tears. But this morning, my wife and I are working on 2 Bible projects, and she's doing the 1-year Bible for women, and I'm doing the 1-year Bible for men. Today's selection, I was doing the devotional for it. It's Matthew 18, and it says so clearly there, woe to anybody that hurts one of these little ones, because their angels are in the presence of God. Now, I want you to imagine this. When you were being beaten, you have angels in heaven, your own angels, and they were in the presence of God, making sure God did not miss this. And God says, vengeance is mine, thus saith the Lord. And you don't have to take care of whatever is due your father. God takes care of that. But I want you to know he didn't miss it. And he loves you. And he hurts when his creation is being hurt. And your angels were there to say, hey, don't miss this. James is being hurt miserably. And I believe the Holy Spirit has come along and comforted you, has strengthened you to bring you to this point. Now I think it'd be great if you could get in and do some really great, tough, hard work that could relieve you from some of that pain, and probably the tears would start to flow. Let me send you a copy of this book. It's one of my favorites. It's Healing is a Choice, and I hope and pray that it will help you. And I'm going to send you the devotional 100 Days of Healing, and I hope that that will be a blessing to you. And I'm just praying for you right now that that little 3-year-old boy will receive the love, the attention, and the healing that that was deserved way back then. So very sorry to hear your story. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you have a story like that, there's help for you. There's hope for you. Finding Freedom is the workshop that we do that deals with these kinds of issues. And we've seen people find freedom after years and years of very, very horrific treatment. So please call us and let us help you if you're struggling. All right, let's go to Becky. Minneapolis, Minnesota listens online. How are you, Becky? What's going on with you today?
Hi, I'm good. I just have a question for you.
Okay.
I'll give a brief description of it, and then you can just ask me questions. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. I have a problem with I would like you to speak to the issue of hoarding, of keeping stuff. Why do people keep stuff? I want to know why I'm like this.
Okay.
And are there some videos that I can watch, some resources that I can access, and talk about Clutters Anonymous? Why do people do this? What causes this?
Yeah. Okay.
And because my house is disorganized and I can't have friends over. I would love.
How long have you been struggling? How long have you been struggling to the extent that you couldn't have people inside your house?
I don't know, a while. Years.
Years. And if I were to ask you to tell us the most traumatic thing, the most painful thing that ever happened in your life, what would you say that would be?
The most painful thing that happened in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's a few things. There's an I was involved in an accident when I was little. I was like 5. I fell off a horse. And I don't remember a lot about it, but my life changed after that.
Really?
And then I went through a divorce in 2007.
Okay.
And just not there's nothing horrible. There's no events I can really point to. I'm really blessed. I have really wonderful people around me. I have a wonderful husband that would help me with this. Anything I could ask for.
Yeah.
I have.
Well, when you said the accident, your life changed forever, how did it change forever from that horse accident?
I don't know. I just don't have. Well, I don't know exactly. I just know that things are really hard for me.
Did it fill you with perhaps fear that you'd never had before? Did you not feel safe anymore, like maybe you did before that accident?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm so sorry for what you're struggling with. Let's start with Jill. Try to give you some insight and some hope here. It isn't hopeless. I know that.
No, it's not. And just as you're talking, Becky, I just feel so much for you because I know how painful this can be.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's such a tug of war inside of a person, because obviously intellectually you're looking at it and you're seeing that it's causing you pain, but you're having a hard time acting on it. When you talk about, these changes in your life, 5 years old and then a divorce, these are all kind of parts of your life that you have lost. And stuff represents pieces of our lives, and sometimes we attach to stuff so much so that it almost feels like it's the actual representation of parts of our lives that aren't always lived.
For years, all I did was focus on my husband, and my needs were unmet because of his sexual addiction. The counselors focused on him, and all the books I read were about him and how to help him.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
This weekend gives me permission to now focus on me.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
I am so thankful to New Life for giving me what I know now is going to be a new life.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas June 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, and we're talking with Becky. We want to really help her. And which one of you wonderful
So I just want to
PhDs
kind of
want to
finish my thought, and Allison, feel free to jump in. Just that a lot of times there are parts of our lives that we don't feel like we got to fully live. And the holding on to that, it's almost like we are still trying to, live out those kind of unfulfilled parts of our life. And that sense that life changed for you, there's some missing parts that you didn't get, that you might have gotten. And so this holding on to things, even when it seems irrational, it's an irrational attachment to things. And the letting go is just painful and difficult, and I can just hear in your voice the pain that it brings you, because you see also the results of it, and yet it's so compelling to not let go. It makes it
Right.
it makes it really hard.
And Becky, I think you get stuck in the shame of it, of what's the matter
yeah.
with me? Why can't I handle this? Why can't I get on top of this problem? But I want to redirect your focus, because I think there can be a real spiritual warfare that's also going along with any unresolved emotional issues that you have that haven't been fully processed. But the Bible tells us we're not wrestling against flesh and blood here, but against that unseen enemy in the spiritual realm. And I think about how God, he's not chaotic. He's not a God of chaos. He's a God of peace. And one of the gifts that the Spirit gives us is self-discipline. So instead of you beating yourself up, something is so wrong with me that I can't keep my house better than this. I want you to look at it as, you enemy of chaos, you are not from God. You don't belong here. You don't have a right to my home. In Jesus' name, I reclaim this space. And God, develop in me the gifts and the fruits of the Holy Spirit. See what that will do of engaging in spiritual warfare and looking at the enemy as the enemy versus yourself as the enemy.
And then you bring somebody in to help you fight the battle. We've talked, Alice, you mentioned before on another show about someone really, really safe that you can expose your shame to. You know, you can let that person into the maybe the worst rooms in the house, or you start with the least room in the house. And they help do for you what you can't do for yourself. Right? Because they don't have the emotional attachment. And it's anxiety producing, and you can talk about it as you go along.
Just as she brings that up, do you think you'd be willing to have someone come in and help you go through the stuff and, you know, do the thing you know you're supposed to do? Throw some away, give some away, keep some. Are you open to that?
How do you do that?
You know,
I think I'm not open to that.
Okay.
I don't think.
No, it's really hard. So, Becky, I have had to do this in my life. Let me just tell you. So when my daughter was about 2 years old, it took me 2 years to even become a normal person again after I had my first child. And I just was so overwhelmed with everything and just bogged down. And I think, you know, at that time, you know, whatever issues I have, I won't go into all of them now, kind of came to a head. So I invited the most lovely, safe person that I got as a referral to come in my home and sit with me and just sort through things. And then there were things that I couldn't even tolerate dealing with. So she would do them, and then she would run it by me. And we would just do a little bit at a time. And week after week, she helped me do some organization and restructuring, and she made it safe enough and wasn't shaming. It's really important to not have someone who is shaming. It helped. It alleviated some of that, but I couldn't have done it alone.
Yeah. And you know, you come to discover that I could keep this, but somebody talks to you about what somebody else would be able to actually do with it. You know, let's just say you had 8 pair of the same shoes. Sometimes hoarders might do that. And so you could have 8 pair, but somebody talks you through. Can you imagine what 6 people with these new shoes can, and then that helps you to get rid of it. Other things, you don't want to forget it, and it takes up space. And you discover, I can take a picture of that, and I don't have to keep it in taking up space as long as I have an image of it. There are all sorts of things that we can do. But let me just say this, Becky. You fell off of a horse at the age of 5, right?
Right.
And I think it changed everything, because I don't think somebody helped you deal with what that did to you. As parents, it's not what happens to our kids. It's what we do in response to it that makes such a big deal. And I have to wonder, can you tell me if you felt like somebody didn't truly deal with it in a helpful way? Is that a memory of yours or not?
Probably. I'm not real sure exactly what happened with all of that.
Do you have a great relationship with your mom now?
Unfortunately, my mom passed away, and my dad had a stroke, so I can't really visit with either of them.
And I would imagine you feel pretty alone, huh?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I hope something we've said is helpful here. But I do know this, that when it becomes a pattern over a long period of time, the work is working on the willingness to have somebody come in and go through it. Someone that really could help you change everything. But getting to that willingness place, that is not easy.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and I'm going to send Becky a copy of the Emotional Healing Workbook.
Yes, that would be good.
Emotional Freedom Workbook. It's got a great section on procrastination. If you heard the other program that we did about this, you know that procrastination is a big part of this. You know what to do, but it's so hard to do it. It becomes impossible. You just procrastinate, all sorts of reasons. It will help her. If you are a hoarder or a clutterer, I think this Emotional Freedom Workbook would help. And I think Finding Freedom would really be helpful. Chris Williams and I do that together. And it really can help free you up from things that are just, I feel like, impossible to deal with. But I'm really glad she called. It's such a common problem in these days. And let's go to Kathy, talk with her from Reading, Pennsylvania. And, well, let's say what. First, I will go to Sarah, Louisville, Kentucky, 92.3 FM. Hi, how are you? Welcome to New Life.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
And thank you for all the hard work you do. I told the person that answered the phone my question is, I will give you my question, and then if you whatever you need to ask me, you can ask me.
Okay.
I have a great grandson, whom I need to know if I should intervene in keeping my daughter from adopting him.
This is your daughter's son, or you said great-grandson or grandson?
My daughter. This is my daughter's grandson, and my great-grandson.
Okay, and why wouldn't you want her to adopt your great-grandson?
Okay, well, I wouldn't want her to adopt my great-grandson because she didn't raise her own two children. She had her last child taken away from her due to drugs and instability and not cooperating with the court systems. And
is she still on drugs, or is she recovering?
She never got into any recovery system. I don't know because she lives in another state. I don't know whether she's still on drugs, but I believe from what I've experienced with her that it's like she has a split personality. Her brain is split. 1 minute it seems like she's healthy and going to church and doing all the churchy things, Christian things, and then the next minute she'll go on this craziness that the father of her daughter that was taken away from her is evil, and he stalks her, and she had accused him of this all kinds of craziness, and it just progressively got worse in her accusations, which he was cleared of everything. There was nothing. They couldn't find anything of her accusations.
So she doesn't always seem in her right mind, and it sounds like you're concerned that it's a really unstable environment. And how old is this great-grandson, Sarah?
He is going to be 2 in November.
Okay.
And he has been with the foster.
Okay.
He's been with the foster. Let's add this to it. He has been with the foster mother since he was 4 months old because his own mother was in jail.
Oh, wow.
So sad.
Yeah.
So this foster family, if they've been with him since 4 months of age, where are they in all of this? Are they wanting to adopt him?
Absolutely. She is a single mother. I mean, she's a single woman. She's stable. She's got a home. She's a teacher. And she loves him very much, and he loves her very much. I mean, I've seen it.
Sarah.
I've visited it. I've watched.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sarah, it sounds like it would really be a great thing for you to take a bit of a risk and get involved and tell whoever is in charge of that adoption, or talk with the foster parenting folks and tell them, here's your concern and your belief that your great-grandson is in the best place possible right now. So often the system wants kids to stay in families. It's like that's this big thing, when the big thing needs to be who unselfishly loves this child the most, and where do they have the best chance. And so I think you could really, being the great-grandmother, stepping in like this, I think it could have a great impact. I would hate for you to not step in, feeling the way you feel and knowing the things that you know. I think they need to know that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, as it is, I'm estranged from my daughter because of being part of taking her daughter away from her when she was 3.
Well,
so
you have nothing to lose then. You have nothing to lose then. You're a courageous, truth-based mom and grandmom and great-grandmother. And I'd stay the course.
Right. And someone has to be an advocate for these young kids, right? So that they have a chance. I mean, your daughter's already grown, but this child is only 2 years old. And where he's gotten the love and the attachment and the stability, that is his home now. And it sounds like, Sarah, that maybe you have access to him and are able to be somewhat a part of his life. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of the best of both worlds.
It really is.
Right? To have the foster care family, but his biological family is still involved. And I would definitely speak up.
So let us just encourage you to continue doing that. And wow, that's incredible. Do it. Be brave, courageous, and we'll all pray for this little boy that the best thing possible can happen for him. I'm going to send you a Restoration Bible, my gift to you. I hope you will like it and enjoy it, and it will provide some great emotional insight and healing through God's Word. Let's go to Kathy, Reading, Pennsylvania, WBYN. Hi there, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Excellent. What's going on in your life today?
Well, we have 7 children. I mean, a lot of them are adult kids now, But my 19-year-old son, we adopted when he was, we got custody of him when he was 2 weeks old. He was injured at birth, shortly from his birth family, and he has definitely some cognitive delays.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds some crazy way to porn all the time. So
All right.
he had a computer that was not filtered from school with the whole COVID thing. They sent the kids home with laptops, and we caught him on some pretty nasty stuff. So I called the 1-800 number and asked about the New Life coming on May 9th. And they wanted me to call because they weren't sure that would be appropriate for somebody who has some intellectual disabilities.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad you did call, because in us doing these online, I'm just wondering if his father and him could do it together.
Yes. I mean, my husband is definitely here.
Okay, so he's 19, and whatever is going on with him intellectually, I mean, he's connecting with pornography, and I don't think there's anything that would be presented there that would be detrimental for him to hear. And I think someone, a testimony, a concept, a principle could unlock some things. But also, he would be working with a counselor and the other guys in the group. And I think having his father there would kind of ensure that, if he wasn't able to fully participate in the group, that he would at least be appropriate. So that would be something where I would have his father talk with our folks and try to arrange for the two of them to be involved in that. And I think it'll go pretty well.
And
it's
Kathy,
worth a try. Sure.
Emotionally, how old do you feel like he is?
He's pretty young. All through school, he has quite a stammer. And all through school, he refers to everyone as his friend. He has never said he was bullied. He just had surgery a year ago to stop drooling. He's incontinent. I mean, there's a lot of things from his brain damage from his accident or whatever they did to him. I think they dropped him.
Yeah.
Kathy, no matter what he's able to receive cognitively, what he receives emotionally and spiritually will impact him deeply. To find out he's not alone, other men struggle with what he's struggling with, and that the need for the comfort he's seeking is legitimate, and there are other ways to fulfill that need. He will absolutely benefit from the weekend.
Yeah, I can see him not looking great, but hearing perfectly what's being said.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and really hope I'll send for Kathy Every Young Man's a Battle. I think that'll be a great book for him. I hope so. I think we'll
even to begin reading with his dad.
Yeah, and have our folks talk with him, the dad, see if there's a possibility. If there is, I'd sure love for that to happen. Larry Sonnenberg is with us, and of course Larry has seen the benefit. He goes to these Every Man's Battle weekends every time, and it's just amazing his commitment and dedication to it. But Larry, let's talk about our needs here. I mean, we want people to help us. We need their support. We have a matching fund that it just sits there until somebody says,
right,
unlock it.
That's right. If they send $10, we take $10 from the fund and we realize $20. And so, and you can, whatever amount you give, just it's the same thing. If you give 1,000, it'll mean 2,000 to us. So, and anything in between. So thank you for that. But before I go on with that, I want to ask you, Steve, why did you suggest that we send videos to our people every day, and why are you doing the quarantine FaceTime things? What was the reason for that?
Well, because people have greater needs now, and when all of this happened, we started thinking, what can we do to help people? And so we've got these videos. Let's do that. I can do a special thing every day just to address this stuff. I mean, we just pulled out all the stops, said, what can we do? Let's do our workshops online. What else can we do? How can we reach people? All of that. We just wanted to help. That's it.
This lady sent a note and explained it real shortly. She said, thanks for your wonderful videos. Keeps me hopeful and less stressed.
There you
and
go.
I just thought that summarized
right
it. That's what we give it hope.
Really does.
And helping people not feel the stress. And so if you can believe in that, please make a gift to New Life. It will be doubled. Make a gift of any amount. From $1 to $100,000, make a gift of any amount. We'll double it.
And the way we can text in a donation, it's so simple. I did it in under 3 minutes. So you can do it right now before you move away from when we close the show. Do it right now. Very easy.
NLM match to $28,950.
Right.
NLM match to $28,950. And Larry, like you said, if you can give $100,000, it will be matched with $100,000.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. Thank you. We'll take
it. Well, I'm appreciative of anything, and I want to say thank you to everybody who has been giving. Thank you to the group that provided the matching fund. Thank you to Club New Life members. You guys have been sustaining and carrying this ministry through this COVID thing. And if you want to join Club New Life, call us. Let us tell you what all the benefits are, how it works. We'd love for you to be a part of that family.
All right, 1-800-229-3000 to join us on the program. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you want some help. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you can help us. We talked about some things that do help you during this National Mental Health Awareness Month. And one of the things we didn't mention is getting out of yourself, getting into other people. Rather than waiting for somebody to help you, you reach out and do what you can to help somebody else. So it's not just a gift to us, it's a gift to yourself. It is a transforming gift when we are generously giving to other people to get help. Thank you, Larry. We've got time for one more caller. We'll go to Shannon, WBYN, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hi, how are you? And how can we help today?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah.
I'm a nervous wreck, and I am filled with anxiety continuously, and it's been most of my life, but it has been very aggressive for the past 10 years. And the Lord thought that he should try me by letting me sit on the phone for an hour and 31 minutes.
Oh, gosh. Way to stick with it, girl.
Yeah. So I can't even tell you how ready I just want to hang up now. But I called because I have a real problem besides the anxiety. Is I have a severe addiction to my prescription medication. I'm not taking more than what is prescribed to me because I always have some left over, but they are prescribing too much. And it's gotten to the point that I have to have it or I can't get through. It's the anxiety, anger, grief, rage.
Shannon, is it a benzodiazepine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 2, actually. One of them, which I take for migraines, and that one is on a very limited basis because I only take it for migraines, which is bizarre because I can feel the effect of that one, but I only ever take it when I have a migraine. And the other one, not much.
What is the other one?
It's Xanax.
Okay, so Shannon, in how many years? You said 10 years you've been on this?
Well, longer, 13 or 14, but 10, it's been aggressive due to a terrible accident that happened in our family and then multiple deaths in 5 years.
Shannon, let me jump in for sake of time. Because one of the things with Xanax, and I've had the experience, back years ago when we had our hospital programs, and I worked in those, where long-term Xanax use can actually, and benzo use, can actually turn on you, and it begins to create the the very symptoms you're trying to use it for. So it actually, in the long run, past 5 years of usage ongoing like that, it starts to make people anxious and panic.
Paradoxical effect is what happens. Just the exact opposite.
I'm very aware. I have researched this like crazy because I'm a control freak and I believe that I can take care of everything. I was actually on drugs many years ago and decided, like 30 some years ago, and decided, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. And I was doing a lot. And I'm like, you know what, I'm not interested, and walked away. Alcohol, you know what, I'm not interested.
And Shannon, now when you bring up your concern with your psychiatrist, what's the response from the psychiatrist about weaning off of the benzos and getting onto a better, longer-term medication?
You don't bring it up.
A psychiatrist.
Shannon? Okay, Shannon.
I don't have one.
Here's the reality. Here's the reality. You've been able to do a lot of things, and in your past you were even able, under your own power, to get off of certain drugs. To be able to admit you have an extreme limitation, that in and of yourself you're not going to fix this, that is a huge step toward recovery from it. Now, it requires...
Doesn't feel like it.
I know. Because it requires humility, which isn't the same as humiliation. What you're feeling is humiliation that you don't have the power. But every person I've ever met that is free of any kind of chemical addiction, and I wrote about this for Johnny Erickson, produced a Bible called the Beyond Suffering Bible. And I wrote an article, about 8 pages for that Bible, entitled The Innocent Addiction. And that's what I call these kinds of prescription drug addictions. You don't realize what you're doing, but you end up addicted to something that is so strange. The addictive power is even greater than a street drug. So here's what you're going to have to end up doing to be free. Humble yourself before God and say, God, I can't do this without you. I know you can. And now I'm going to surrender. And I'm going to let you do it. There is a recovery program. I'm going to send you a Life Recovery Bible and the Workbook. But that's how you do this. Trying harder just makes trying harder. But the gift is to tell yourself, I can't do this on my own. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. Call it.
We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you. But you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.